Hi, in this video I just wanted to raise quickly a case that's just come to court from South Wales, and it basically highlights, I think, some of the risks with digital IDs. So I'm calling it digital ID risk when technology gets it wrong. Basically, 3 innocent people were wrongly accused of downloading child abuse images due to basically a BT broadband wiring error. Let's just have a quick look at this case. I'll put the URL down there. Here's the report in BBC News from a couple of days ago. It's basically, as I mentioned, that 3 people were wrongly accused over certain images, basically because the BT got their IP address wrong. Now, it's being rated. It happened a couple of years ago. There's 2 or 3 years ago, I think. But it's just come to court because tribunals, they've tried to claim compensation. But anyway, what happened? Well, basically a BT engineer inadvertently crossed 2 wires within a street cabinet in Wales. It's caused internet activity from the real offender's address was to be traced to a nearby home where there were 3 people, innocent people, staying, 1 woman and 2 men. The police conducted 2 searches and seized all their electronic devices. In 2016 it was, so it's 9 years ago now. You can see how much of an impact this case must have on these poor people. So what happened to the 3 falsely accused people? Well, pretty awful, really. As I'm sure you can imagine, really, all 3 had to inform their employers of what they were being accused for. The woman was advised her children couldn't live with her alone. Both of the men faced child protection referrals. One had restricted work duties at his employment, and another actually had a job offer withdrawn because of this case. The tribunal, they were trying to find what went wrong and what happened with the police and whether there was any compensation. They've said the police acted lawfully. I'm not sure. Probably correct. Investigatory Powers Tribunal ruled Dyfed-Powys Police acted within the law and responded appropriately once the error was discovered. Not sure of the exact timeline on this, but how long these poor people had to suffer this. Technical fault. The error was caused by a technical fault from BT, not police misconduct. 2 wires linking both addresses were inadvertently crossed. I'm not entirely sure how this was able to happen because, as I understand it, normally when a modem or a router connects from a home internet connection, it does something called PPP authentication, either PPP-oE or OA. Or even there are a few other access methods, but normally the router sends a username and passwords to something like the ISP's radius server, and then the ISP assigns the IP address to that session and logs the account, timestamp and IP, and you would have thought that's where they got their information from. I did a little bit of research, and there are some ways, things like DHCP, cached or leased IP addresses that can cause problems, but I won't go into that now. I might do a separate video on that because I'm sure I'll bore everybody else here. But basically it was a technical fault, and police later identified and prosecuted the actual offender. Presumably they found nothing on these people's digital equipment, but no compensation, nothing. The 3 claimants got nothing, and I can only imagine how awful it was. Now, why am I raising this? Well, it's because of digital identity cards that Mr. Starmer seems so keen. It struck me as a very, very similar situation. Possibly even worse could happen. I mean, let's just summarise. The BT case was a technical wiring error, incorrectly said you were doing something that you weren't. 3 innocent individuals were wrongly implicated in a very, very serious crime. Probably one of the worst you can get. I mean, I think I'd rather be accused of a robbery or something. There were police raids, device seizures, lots of distress, as you can imagine. And the error was simply a physical infrastructure fault, and there was no malicious intent there. And it was a genuine mistake by the police, I guess, as well. What are the digital ID risks? Well, this could happen in a myriad different ways. You could get things like database errors, incorrect data entry, corrupted records, outdated information leading to misidentification. Remember, this will all end up being linked with age verification as well, from people going onto very dodgy sites and these digital IDs being linked as well. System glitches, software bugs or hardware failures can happen on any sort of infrastructure, any computer system. As we can see here, you'll get identity mix-ups, admin errors, similar data leading to individuals being linked to incorrect digital profiles. This digital ID will be linked to digital profiles that will get bigger and bigger and more encompassing. Mr. Starmer says, oh, it'll make getting your tax return easier and stuff like that. Stuff that I say I'd rather have my privacy. Biometric faults, this is happening now as well, and the technology is in its infancy. There'll be inaccuracies in biometric scans, facial recognition, fingerprints. Crying out loud, people are already using a computer game to get past the facial recognition on their different sites. There'll be misidentification as well. This case shows how technical faults, even unintentional ones, can have profound and devastating consequences for individuals. A national digital identity system is just going to multiply this 100-fold. If it is implemented, it needs robust safeguards, lots of transparent error correction mechanisms and independent oversight. If we're going to protect our civil liberties and prevent similar injustices, I'd say scrap it, but that's just me. So, just to summarise, David Paris Police said, we recognise the upset and hurt suffered by the claimants. Easy for them to say, I think, and commend them for dignity, integrity and full cooperation shown throughout. I can only imagine how tough this was for these poor people. David Paris Police acknowledged the distress caused while emphasising that the investigation were lawful, proportionate and necessary. The case highlights how technical errors can have profound human consequences, and I think that's the thing to take away here, even when authorities follow proper procedures. Okay, that's all for me. That's quick. I'll put a link to the case in the description below if you want to read it, and if I find any other links, and I'll put some stuff on the technical things in there as well. Okay, well, thanks for watching and have a great day, everybody. Bye for now.